Welcome to the DevReady podcast. Joining me on the DevReady podcast today, I have Laia Sastre. For those of you who are new to the podcast, I'm meeting Laia for the first time today, really, and I don't know much about her. So we'll let Laia take it away and introduce herself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anthony. And hello, everyone. So, my name is Laia, and I am based in Auckland, New Zealand. And as you can hear in my lovely true blue Kiwi accent, that's a joke. I am originally from Spain, also from an island called Mallorca in Spain. Also, I've been in New Zealand for already 13 years now. So, with a background in communications and marketing, and then move into operations. A few years back, I decided to start solo when I had my first daughter, and just trying to figure out what my skill range was. I started selling my services as an online business manager, and you might wonder what an online business manager is. That's kind of well known in the US, not so much in this region, but basically it's someone that is very organized, planning and strategic planning, and operational efficiency is one of the strengths, and I support small businesses around that. So basically, transforming chaos into efficiency, and that's my superpower, I guess.
It's a good superpower to have. What drew you from Mallorca to make it all the way to Auckland?
Yeah, would love did that. So I spent a year in 2012 in the UK,
Mhm.
where I met my ex Kiwi partner, and now I am married to an Argentinian guy who I met on the beach here in West Auckland surfing. So as you can see, life, has unexpected turns for you, and that's how I ended in New Zealand. So originally when I came here, I kind of had to start from zero, with
Yep.
this huge, back home in Spain, I was a journalist. I used to work on media. So I used to be a
Hmm.
TV reporter back on the day. So very
Oh,
different.
well.
And when I came into New Zealand, I was living in the South Island in Christchurch after
Hmm.
the earthquake happened. So we were there because my ex-partner was working in the earthquake recovery. So I found myself in a position where I have this career and this degree, but I'm in a city that doesn't require those skills. What should I do? And what I did is I took all my skill and my transferable skills from my events management and communications background, and I've moved into project management. And that's how it all started.
Okay. Was that a hard transition to make, having a cultural change from Spain to New Zealand? Then probably the language would have been potentially troubling because I'm obviously English isn't your first language, and then having to then pivot on short notice as well.
That was actually a very interesting time. And yes, it was hard. Actually, the first 10 years in New Zealand, I will say the first 10 years, I spent those 10 years trying to fit in. So, trying to find what's my new way moving forward professionally here. I started from zero very quickly. Um, I am very determined, so very quickly I moved from project management assistance to project management and back to communications and marketing and business operations. However, along the journey, I now see how I was losing a little bit of myself because cultural changes, using a different language, trying to fit in all the time. There was a
Hmm.
point where I thought I lost a little bit of myself, but it was wonderful because through my business and through starting entrepreneurship or trying to do something on your own forced you to connect with who you are in your essence and visit where you are right now, where you want to be. And that was an amazing exercise for me and a very transformational journey for the last, I will say, 2 to 4 years, but especially the last 2 years has have been very transformative for me. And what I love the most about it is that the people that I meet along the way are people that they are lots more in sync with who I am right now. And when it comes to businesses,
Yep.
there are very different ways to run a business. So it's now finding what's your style, how do you want to run your business, and who are those people that you want to partner with.
I think that's the big benefit of being able to run your own business is you can be a bit more selective on the type of people you work with and work with people that that you enjoy their company, you want to see succeed, and you want to help succeed, rather than there are times where you have to take on everyone, as we all know. And if you
That's
can,
look. In business, I think we all have to learn. Of course, we can get some support to avoid some mistakes, but there are things that we need to learn through our own experience. And of course, when I started, I did a little bit of everything, and I was happy to kind of meet everyone where they were at. Now I look at where I am right now, where other businesses are, and see if we find each other on the same space.
yeah,
Because I've worked in the past with businesses who weren't ready to partner with someone like me. They maybe needed some more admin support while they were trying to fix up their mindset. And having someone at my level when you are not ready for it is not cost effective. So
hmm
now when I talk to businesses, the first thing is like, where are your current challenges sitting in the business management and operations space? And as soon as I see that maybe they need to start small by having some more basic support and then jump into working with me around the strategic planning side of things, it's something that I am very clear about because I really want people that uh, works with me or partners with me, because I see this as a partnership, to see the return on the investment and to see very clearly the value. And not we all have started from zero, so we are not always at this space where we can benefit from every single service provider out there.
yeah, and having that ability to partner with them, as you say, we have a similar philosophy. So we develop software for clients, or we can consult and advise on how to build the product. But we don't just take an idea and then disappear 6 months later and then return something that didn't work, which will be similar to your approach. You're in there, you're involved, you're working with the client, you're understanding everything you can about their business or what they're trying to achieve, so then you can deliver the best outcome possible.
Totally, and especially in your case, Anthony, I find that software and IT are the future, same as AI, right? So
Yep.
this is the future, and it's very easy for me that I am very tech savvy, but I don't go into the technical details.
Yep.
I really need to understand where I get a professional, like for example, what you do to do a project for my clients. It's like really understanding what is that you are doing, what is the value, and for you guys to make the client understand what you are doing, because we can be lost in all the techie stuff.
Of course.
But I think it's very important to be able to communicate that because, as I said, tech and AI are the future, and we better embrace it, right?
Yeah, it has to be embraced because you will be left behind as a business if you're not using tech, and especially AI. It's not just for content writing. It's not just to write a blog post, which is 99% of people's probably experience with ChatGPT. We'll just use that as the blanket phrase. But there are a lot of tools out there that can help you get a draft of a certain output very quickly. But the goal of from our side is not to like confuse you or give you a headache by talking in tech and telling you this is all the technical details of it. It's more, this is the value you're going to get. This is the impact it's going to have in your organization. These are the changes you need to make, because that's what really affects the business, is the changes they need to make to implement this big change. And it's a tool. It doesn't drive everything. It just helps people do their job better.
And this is something that I love doing. Like I work with companies who decide to use a new tool or get a consultant and design this beautiful strategy and this piece of tech to support their business, how to work better. But then we need to communicate that to the team. And what I love doing is when I see the benefits of that piece of tech and how to use it to drive the change, is to also work alongside the business founders or owners to train the team on how to efficiently and effectively use those tools to get the maximum output out of it. And I think it's very important to be able to translate what the benefits are rather than this does A, B, and C for you, and that people are on board with it. That's
Yes.
very special, because very important, because if people are not on board with it, it's very difficult to drive change in an organization.
That's the biggest piece, is the people, because you're affecting their day-to-day operations. Normally the people making the decisions, they can be several layers removed from the people on the floor. So they'll be up here where the other people will be down here, and they don't know what happens day to day. They may think, all right, when I used to be on the floor or on the tools or whatever it may be, this is how we used to do things. But things have changed drastically since then. And then they'll make a decision without consulting the people who are actually involved. And that's the wrong way to do it.
Totally, totally. And decision makers are in businesses are there for a reason, but also I think when the decision makers make a decision, especially if it's a strategic one, it's very important to analyze, where their team is sitting and making sure that everyone is on board because it can be very tricky to grow and generate change if everyone is not on board. So communicating those decisions and making sure that everyone is open to embracing those changes and AI and new tech, it's very, very, very important.
Yeah. And that's probably one of the biggest things that you would face coming in as a virtual business manager who comes in and assists businesses is probably the change management and then having to potentially fight employees. Because you will get some that even if you explain the benefits, they're just going to put their back
Totally.
against the wall.
Totally, totally. But actually, someone told me when a couple of years back, someone in the change management space told me, "Oh, so you are a change manager?" And I was like, "No, I would say more like an operations. I work with the founder, more operations person." And he said, "But you drive all those projects, right? Yes. So you are a change manager, and actually, change management is all about communications."
Mm-hmm.
And influencing people and getting all everyone on board. So that's a very very good point. What I will say is that for me it's very easy to see things through, to run a project, to get all the information, to plan for it, to execute it. And I'm very organized and I have the vision so I can see how it's going to end. But for some people it's not that easy. So I
Yeah.
think that having that person in the middle driving that change and managing the projects and the team, it's something that many businesses could benefit from because we see business owners today or founders those days that they do it all. They wear this huge hat,
Yep.
multiple hats. Like they have plenty of hats in the office, changing them all the time. And there is a point where I'm sorry, but there is only a number of things that you can excel at. And probably they sit in your natural, those things that come naturally to you that you were born with and you have been developing. And there are all things that you are very competent. But when you try to do it all, there is a point where we can't do it all effectively and efficiently. And that's where if growth is kicking in, you need some partners to support you along that journey.
Yeah. And when you hit that growth phase, it's now not necessarily partners. It's the people in the organization may need to change and step up a level, or you have to bring in people who've had experience at that level. So then you can get that accelerated growth without having the learning phase.
Totally, totally. I was just hearing earlier this morning someone speaking about conscious businesses and how having someone that has done what you are trying to do successfully already, it's very important. So I think yes, that having those people, surround yourself by those people that have done it successfully earlier, and it doesn't mean that you are going to do everything how they tell you they did it or how they will advise to do it, but also having those other points of view to integrate. And then of course you just take what works for you and where you are right now and you move forward. But I think it's very important. Yes.
And you mentioned earlier that the change is all about communication. How have you seen your previous career influence you in that space? Because you're very well positioned to be the communication person.
That's actually something that I never talk about my comms background, right? Because my business has always been around systems and processes and how we can do things better and let's improve our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say that comms and marketing, like marketing is very operational, right? And when businesses set up their business strategy for growth, marketing is always involved. So, and then communications are across everything and like everything in a business. So I found that it has benefited me hugely that despite that I'm trying to do something different, comes my background in communications and marketing have always stick with me because I can now stakeholder management, change management, I can very comfortably go with it. And also I can see when they show me a marketing strategy, for example, to drive growth, I can easily see all the projects that need to be run and things that need to be done, and where, oh, you need someone specialized in this to help you out. Like I'm not an all-around marketer or anything. So I don't say, oh, I'll do everything for you, but I'm very happy to oversee the projects and see where there are things that I can do in more in the comms space and more in the operation. Marketing is very operational, setting up all those tools and all those workflows, all those systems and processes to run your marketing, as well as identifying where you need marketing experts to jump in.
To get to that point, you probably need that long-term strategy that you mentioned before. You have to be able to strategize, understand target avatar or your target clients. Who are you actually providing value to? Which direction do you want to take your business in? Do you want to scale, or do you want to make the current business more efficient and more profitable rather than having to bring in more people? And unless you know all of that, you're not going to be able to bring in the right marketers or the right people to then get to that position.
Yes, and actually there are two. You made a great point right now, and in the current climate, I will say, like in New Zealand, and the business market has been tough for the last year or two, but I see those are two, a great point that you made. There are two type of businesses. Some people want to grow massively, get to as many people as possible, even if it's through a service or a product, right? So those people they will need to grow if they want to keep growing and growing. But there are some businesses that they just want to be as efficient and like their operation, having a very strong operational efficiency, reach to less people, but deliver lots of value with a different offering. So I think it's very important that you know where you are sitting right now, because I always say for those businesses that want to grow over the 500K to over the mil, and they hire me like as an interim team member, right? So they hire me when they are not ready to hire a full-time ops manager, and I work with them for a period of time until they grow. It's enough to hire a full-time person. So I
Yep.
am this person that helps that transition. But I have other clients that they are very happy to sit the 3 to 500K a year. They don't want to grow further, but they want to have very strong operations and sustain the client base, drive more clients, and keep adding value. And for those, one of my clients, I've been working with them for the last 3 years, right? So I find these different businesses that have different needs where I can support on an ongoing basis, so I can be just this interim person or even just one project person, right? So
Yep.
it's very important that you know where you are sitting and you are engaging the right professionals, because it doesn't make sense to hire a full-time general manager or ops manager if you are not there yet.
Of course. And so what does an ideal business look like for yourself? Like who or what sort of businesses do you work with so we understand the scale of what we're talking about here?
So I've been working up to 500K mil business revenue businesses. Although recently I've been told you wouldn't believe like how many businesses up to a mil will need someone like you, but usually I stay up to the 500 mil revenue, and usually have these two different type of clients. I have some clients that have me on a retainer like monthly basis with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it's called fractional work, right? So I
Yep.
work for them for a fraction of a time, and I take care everything in their making sure that their operations run smoothly. But usually at the beginning, when I start working with them, we do a huge review around how your operations are run, what are your long-term goals, and making sure that we run some business improvement around it. And then I have other clients that they want to do some smaller business owners want to do a VIP day. Like I would like to have a full day session to do some strategic planning around where I run now, where I want to be, and just give me some pointers, and then from there we can do some implementation of those strategies. And then I have other clients that they just need change a project manager to run a project
Okay.
around workflows, systems, processes, or even training about the tool. Like I work with a
Mm-hmm.
number of tools. I need to really get my team on board and teach them how to use very effectively and efficiently this tool. Can you help us with that?
Yeah, so you're really there at the phase when they're looking to jump to the next level. They've gotten
Yes.
to a point they can operate the business. It's not running as well as it should, but then you can come in to either help them organize and understand and give them probably the breathing room to think about the business, because they're day to day running and operating, swapping hats nonstop, and it's hard to think long term when you're in that sort of mode.
Yes, and actually, many people come to me when they have reached that ceiling where they are overwhelmed. And they can, like, when you are feeling overwhelmed 24/7 and thinking about your business and you are even maybe losing your sleep, this is a point where you don't have the space and the room for creative thinking and just to look at where you are right now and where you really want to go. It's very hard to do that creative thinking and planning. So I will say, don't wait till you are there. I know that right now it's very tough because lots of businesses are tight on money and they're only engaging essential services, I will say. But I think that when you get in this spiral of you know, being overwhelmed all the time, it's very difficult to take a step aside to look critically at where you are right now and take decisions around it. So that's a very good point that you've made. I will say, don't wait till you can cope with things. Just plan ahead, do your monthly or your quarterly reviews, see how your projections are looking, and take some action before the real struggle arrives. Because in the short term, of course, your revenue will slow down while you engage those professionals, but it's you slow down to speed up. It's something that
Yep.
you can hear, slowing down to speed up. So it's just for a period of time, set up the right foundation. It will take more of your time and partners, but then you will speed up.
Yeah, because if you're running at that, before that phase, constantly at that running around and just trying to keep up with everything,
Yeah,
it's never going to settle.
yeah.
That's just the new normal now. So you're going to be running around, swapping hats non-stop and trying to keep up. And then you may get busier and it's going to be harder to keep up again. So it's not going to work itself out.
And actually, you said something there that it's the new normal. And it is. We live in a society, especially in the Western world, where we need to be doing stuff all the time. We need to be productive and efficient. And I get it. I talk about that all the time. But I've also learned that in order to be my better self, to be efficient
Mm-hmm.
and productive, and I am a mom of two, 3 and 6. So you can imagine how demanding that
Yep.
is. Um, I really need to allow every day, every single day, space for my own personal needs. Whatever is reflection, doing some exercising. For me, it's very important, exercising, taking some time for my mental, mental, emotional, and body well-being. When I don't do that for 2, 3 days in a row, I start losing my balance.
Yep.
So, for all those parents out there who have businesses, because having a young family, or not even a young family, because you have all those phases, I will say that I know that we live in a society where we need to do things all the time. We need to take care of our business and our family, but always make sure your own personal needs are met too, because that's very, very important to own your own success will translate in your business success. But you really need to look after yourself and your business holistically as a whole.
Definitely. You can't be running on edge 24/7. Would that have been a big shock coming from Spain? My background is Greek, and I know in Greece and Italy and Spain, there's siestas in the afternoon where a lot of things shut down and everyone takes time. Would that have been a big shock coming from that culture to the busy non-stop culture here and what you're experiencing in New Zealand?
Yeah, so I'm sorry to be that person that tells you that's actually not true, but yeah, that's actually not true that we all take siestas in the middle of the day.
I've
Depending.
seen a lot of restaurants shut in Greece at times
Yeah,
and they
so
do it
so so it depends what
where.
where you work, right?
Yep.
One thing that it's true, and I just spent a month and a half in Spain over the Christmas period, and it's true that things have changed a lot. When I was in my 20s, yeah, all the shops used to shut from 1 till, I will say, 1 till 4 or something like that.
Yep.
Also think in the Spanish summer, it gets
Yeah, when it's
very
very hot.
hot. So I remember when I was a kid, everything was shut from 1:30 till around 4 p.m. But today, like my mom lives in the CBD, I will say, of Palma
Hmm.
de Mallorca, and everything is open till 8 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Like from 9, 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. at night. Only the very small businesses, family run, very small businesses,
Yep.
they shut down now in the middle of the day. But for example, when I was working as a TV reporter back on the day on media, because I had to cover huge shifts, so I will work from 9 to 9 p.m., 9 till
Yep.
9 p.m. So I had
Oh
a good
wow.
chunk, yes. So because I was on, for the period of time, I was on the weekend news and I will work Thursday to Sunday, 9 to 9. So
Hmm.
at lunchtime, I will go home, have lunch, and try to have a rest.
Yep.
But other times, while
You
working,
can't.
I was working from 9 to 6. Like days, working days in Spain are longer than here in Australia and New Zealand, and I really appreciate the working culture here. Like in the corporate world, it's like usually working hours are 8 to 5, while in
Yep.
Spain, I remember they were 8 to 7. It's
Oh
like
wow.
you
Okay.
have this huge gap in the middle of the day. But I worked in Madrid for a long, like I lived in Madrid for 8 years.
Hmm.
And when they told me you have to work from 8 till 7.5, 2 hour break in between, I didn't have time to go home because Madrid is a big city. I had to take the
Yep.
tube. I didn't have time to go
Too
home
much
and
travel.
have a rest. So I really appreciate how here we can, if you are in those sort of jobs, you can do. I feel that the work-life balance is slightly better here when it comes to that. But
Yep.
yeah, I have to say that siestas, when I go on holiday, I really enjoy having one, especially in
Yep.
summer. But it's
Of course.
something that you have to adapt. And I will say, I've met a few Kiwis that always tell me, "Oh, Laia, when I have a siesta, like I am the better version of myself if I have a power nap in the middle of the day, even if it's only
Yep.
15 minutes." So I will encourage, if you are one of these people that doesn't allow, don't allow yourself to have a rest, maybe try a little siesta in the middle of the day if you can.
That depends on how you're running your day, and if you're on edge, you probably need to give yourself those little
Yeah,
breaks so you can recharge. Otherwise, you'll just
yeah.
be depleted at the end of every day. And if you are saying you wanting to work till 7, you won't be able to make it till that time, or you won't be
Totally.
productive for most of the day. So you're just wasting the time.
Totally. I always talk about micro moments, right? So for me, it's very important. Even I don't have time to sleep during the day, but sometimes it's like just doing 10 minutes of yoga or some 5 minutes of deep breathing or just recentering and resting to keep
Yep.
going. And those days, you won't find me active at 9 p.m. Like 9 p.m., I'm just,
Yep.
it's time for me to rest. But it's just finding your own pace with where you are right now and your personal circumstances. We live in a world where everyone tells us how to run a business, how to do things, and you should be doing A, B, and C, and all these formulas to multiply your revenue by 10. I'm sorry, but that doesn't work for everyone.
No.
And you really need to look into where you are right now, who you are, and what works for you personally, and then find those ways that help you around that. And that's something that's very important when you work with consultants. Never let them tell you how to do things. Let's discuss and brainstorm how you function and then find the right solution for you.
Yeah, and it's use the right elements of what they're saying that apply to you, not just
Yes.
because not everything works for everyone. So my little moment is if I need it, I'll go take a walk around the block. It's only a 5 minute walk, but that's enough. That's when an idea will come because I'm just not thinking, or I've got music on and I'm walking, and then I get an idea because now I've taken myself out of the environment. I'm no longer thinking about that actively, but it's still in my brain, and then that's just the moment when it happens.
Totally, totally. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my little piece of. It's not. It doesn't seem that it's business-like, but actually, to success in business, you do need to get those foundational pieces right first at the
Oh,
personal
correct.
level. Yeah,
And you need the balance. Like I mentioned, you can't run at 100% and you can't run at 0%. You need to know when to go up and when to go down and when to put the effort and when to
yeah.
give yourself a break to be able to do it again.
And I always say my last bit of information here. It's when we do prioritization in for our business. When you decide, okay, what I need to tackle today, think about your priorities in your business and your priorities in your day that they are not business related, and really think what are those things that they are going to have the most impact on my day, right? Use the
Yep.
20/80 rule and make sure that your energy is focused on those things that will get you the most impact and value instead of just running like a headless chicken trying to cover too much stuff in one day, right?
Of course, yeah. It's understand where your impact will be used the most.
Yes.
Well, Leia, it's been a very interesting chat. If anyone wants to learn more about you, how can they do that?
So they can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to go there and connect. Otherwise, Anthony, if you can just please share my email address and my website, and people can just reach out to me via email, LinkedIn, or even, book a time on my website to have a chat, a coffee chat.
Not a problem. And we'll definitely put all of those links in the show notes and part of the episode. Once again, thank you for joining me on an episode of the DevReady podcast.
Won-
And I wish you luck.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anthony, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.